brought to you courtesy of Christ for Life. We continue with the teaching that has been running, a series of teaching titled Personal Development and the Discovery of Purpose. My name is Suvila Kaunda. Before I proceed, allow me to open the program in a word of prayer. Shall we pray? Our Father in heaven, thank you for this day. This is the day that you have made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. I am grateful for the privilege, God, to share this message to our beloved viewers and listeners. I pray that you bless someone out there with this message. In Jesus' mighty name, start with me, oh God, and end with me. In Jesus' name, amen. Today we are going to focus on how to discover your purpose. How to discover your purpose. The discovery of purpose is something that is not necessarily done in one way. I mean, the methods, or rather the avenues that one can use to discover his or her purpose in life are quite a number. And this teaching is a series because we want to tackle the practical methods that you can engage to discover what your purpose on earth is. I know it is a question that almost everyone has. What is my purpose in life? Excuse me. Today we focus on method 1 of what your purpose is, or how to discover what your purpose is. To discover your purpose under method 1, you need to identify your tool. Identify your tool set or your skill set. Now, what do I mean by this? Every human being is gifted. There is not a single individual on this planet Earth who is not gifted. Everyone is endowed with some gift and some talent by their creator. But not everyone, unfortunately, manages to discover what their gift or their talent is. However, if you can identify what your gift or your talent is, it is a starting point and a pointer to your purpose. Now, why am I referring to it as a tool or a set of tools? It is because a gift or a talent in itself is not purpose. Gifts and talents are not necessarily purpose. However, gifts and talent is a tool to be used in order to fulfill your purpose in life. Therefore, if you can identify what tool you have been equipped with, what gift, what talent you have been endowed with, that already is a step closer to finding out then what is expected of you to do on this earth. So gift and talent is not purpose, but it is a tool necessary for the fulfillment of purpose. I would also like to mention that not only is it that every human being is gifted, but there are also, let me say, there are two kinds of abilities. The first is what I've mentioned, the natural God-given ability, which is your gift, your talent. But there's a second type of ability, which I call the acquired ability. So why do I refer to it as acquired? For example, you were not born an accountant, but along the way, you acquired that profession, you acquired that skill, you became one. You were not born a doctor, but along the way, you became one. You were not born an engineer, but along the way, you became one. You were not born a driver, but along the way, you became one. So this is what I call the acquired skill or acquired profession. This is where careers come in. But the first one is the natural, God-given gift or talent. But whether natural or acquired, I'm calling it tools because gift, talent, career, skill, or profession in themselves, they are not purpose, but there are tools that you need to use to discover what your purpose is. So let me give you an example to help you understand. Because this is how life was designed by God. If I invite 3 of my servants and I equip each one of them with a particular tool, to the first I give a slasher, and to the second servant I equip them with an axe, and then the third servant is equipped with a hoe. 3 different servants equipped with 3 different tools. Question: are these servants of mine able to predict or to guess or to tell the kind of work that I expect them to do? I have just called them and handed them or equipped them with a set of tools, different tools given to different individuals, but then I don't communicate anything to them. The question is, are they able to guess just by looking at the tool that has been given to them, the tool that is in their hands? Just by examining the tool that they've been given, are they able to guess the kind of work that I want them to do? Of course. You are able to guess. You have an idea of the kind of work, even if I don't tell you anything, just by examining the tool that I have equipped you with. You look at what is in your hands. It is possible to have an idea of the kind of work that I expect you to do. The one with a slasher is able to say, if my boss can hand me with a pair of slasher, I expect that there are some lawns somewhere that needs to be slashed. You are able to tell, you are able to have an idea of the kind of work you are expected. So that is the way it is with life. If you can identify your ability, your natural ability, that tool, that gift, that talent that you were born with, it could be the ability to sing, it could be an ability to write, it could be an ability to coordinate your body, it could be an ability to speak or ability to encourage, different abilities that people are born with. If you can identify that, then from there you are able to guess or have an idea of what your manufacturer expects you to function like, or the area in which you are expected to perform. So one sure way and one practical way of discovering what your purpose is by paying attention to your tool, the tool that you have been equipped with. But like I said, unfortunately, when it comes to God-given tools, only a few people get to realize what it is. But of course, that's why I've included part 2 of the abilities, which is the acquired ability. You can still rely on the skill, the ability, the profession or the career that you just picked up along the way, and you can use it. Career also is not purpose, but it is a tool to be used for the fulfillment of purpose. Allow me to explain that there are 3 aspects that you should be clear about when it comes to your life, especially regarding the issue of purpose. The first thing that you should be clear about is the end. The end implies what you intend to do or where you are headed or what you want to do. In fact, the end is the purpose itself, the ultimate end of the matter. So the ultimate end of your life refers to what is expected of you, your purpose or where you are headed. The second aspect that you need to be clear about is the means. So the means refers to how you intend to get there. So there is the end, which is the purpose or what you want to achieve. Then there is the means. The means implies how you intend to get there. And then there is the third aspect, which is the rewards. The rewards refers to the incentives. It could be money that is involved as you go about fulfilling your purpose. So you need to be clear about these 3 things, because number 1, the reward only gives pleasure. The reward where money comes in will only give you pleasure. Fulfillment comes from something else. Fulfillment comes from knowing the end. Because knowing the end implies knowing the problem that you are here to solve. Listen, your career, your gift, your talent can become burdensome at some point, and the burden can only be lifted by you becoming clear about the problem that you solve. There are some people right now who are not enjoying their career because their why is not clear enough. So if your career looks like it is troubling you, you are not enjoying, it is possible to start enjoying your career if you can define your why in clear terms. Because sometimes the process may not be enjoyable, but the outcome, knowing what you are solving, the problem you are solving, can become motivating enough that paying the price becomes easier. In fact, there is a saying that if your why is clear enough, what you need to do becomes easier. In other words, the price you need to pay becomes easier. This is what the scripture says about Jesus, that because of the joy that was set ahead of him, he was willing to endure the cross. Now, to give an example on this method one we are looking at, which is identifying your two, I would like to cite a story from the Bible, from the book of Judges. It's Judges chapter 13, where you find, where you find a man named Samson. Samson is one of the judges that God raised with a specific mission of rescuing the children of Israel from the oppression of the Philistines. In our local language, we like to call him Samson Makayam Chunsu. We used to know him by that when we were a child during Sunday school. When we were children during Sunday school, we used to call him Samson Makayam Chunsu. Samson was a judge. He was raised by God to come and fight the Philistines on behalf of the Israelites. He came to redeem the nation of Israel from the oppression of the Philistines. But guess what? He also came loaded. And this is the topic we are discussing today. He was equipped. Samson was equipped. And the tool that God gave Samson to carry out this purpose of fighting the Philistines was strength. So when you read chapter 13 of Judges, you discover that there was a man named Samson that God raised to come specifically for the purpose of rescuing the Israelites from the oppression of the Philistines. And this leader, this man named Samson, was equipped by God with strength. So the equipment or the tool that Samson had to carry out his purpose was strength. What tool have you been equipped with by God? What do you think you are good at? What are your natural abilities? What is it that you've been doing naturally and enjoyed doing naturally, even from the time you were young? Or it could be you have picked up a career that you enjoy. What career do you possess? Listen, that's why it's not good to define yourself by what you do. You ask somebody, who are you? And they tell you, I'm an accountant. But me, I ask them, before you did accounts, who were you? You don't define yourself by what you do. You define yourself by your purpose. You define yourself by the problem you came to solve. Because what you do is just the ability or the means you use to achieve your purpose. Let me give an example. Even a musician should not call himself a musician per se. Because even musicians, if you listen to their music, you can categorize where they belong. If I listen to Yomap's songs, for example, I'm able to tell that every time if I ask Yomaps to give me a collection of his music, I'm able to tell that over 90% of his songs talk about love and relationships. So maybe that guy came to mend and heal relationships. He came to he came to assist, to help relationships work. And he does that through music. So he should be able to define himself as a relationship mender who does this purpose by or through music. That's the way I want you to live your life, to become so clear about your purpose in life that you don't confuse yourself with what you do. You don't confuse who you are with your career. You don't confuse who you are with your tool, with your gift, with your talent. Remember, gift and talent is not purpose. These are tools, including career. It is not purpose. It is a tool to fulfill purpose. Let me give examples so that you understand. You could be here on earth to help the children. Maybe your purpose in life is to fight child injustice. And guess what? You decide to pick up a career along the way to achieve this purpose of fighting child injustice. So you go and become a lawyer. So you become a lawyer, you pick up this career called law. But the purpose is to fight child injustice. So remember what I shared, there is the end. The end is your purpose. Then there is the means. The means is how you intend to achieve your purpose. Then there is the reward. The reward means the incentives that you get by so doing. So let me give an example. You are raised by God to come and stand for or against child injustice. And to do this, you go and become a lawyer. So you acquire these two, this skill set, this profession called law. And now you want to become this lawyer who opens a law firm that will stand against child injustice. Your purpose in that case is to fight child injustice. The means is by you becoming the lawyer. The rewards is the money and other incentives that will be coming your way by virtue of you fulfilling this purpose. This is the clarity I want you to get. Don't just be quick to call yourself a civil engineer. With your civil engineering, what purpose are you fulfilling? Let me give another example. You could be frustrated by the lack of infrastructure in your country. And so every time you look at how undeveloped this place is, you are agitated by it. And guess what? You make up your mind to say, before I die, I want to make positive contribution to the infrastructure development in my country. And to do this, I will go and do civil engineering. So civil engineering becomes your career, which is the means by which you intend to achieve this purpose. So the purpose in your case is to bring infrastructure development to your country. And the means is the civil engineering profession that you pick up. And the rewards is the pay you get. Young people out there, please don't be quick to pick a career based on rewards. Remember, rewards can only give pleasure. Fulfillment comes from knowing the problem that you solve. What problem are you here to solve? Because it's the problem you came to solve that determines the tool you are equipped with by God, or that determines the tool you equipped yourself along the way we call a career. So the end is your purpose. The means is the career you've picked or the tool you possess. And the rewards is the money or the incentives that come with that. Let me give another example. Maybe you are agitated by ignorance. You get irritated to see people ignorant. And so your purpose in life could be to fight ignorance. And to do that, you pick up a career, you go and do teaching. And so you become a teacher. So you don't call yourself a teacher, you call yourself an ignorance fighter. And who fights the ignorance? Through the profession of teaching. That's the clarity I want you to get. There is a purpose for which you exist. You have a tool, which is a gift or a talent or a career that you've picked up along the way. May they be used to serve the purpose. The fulfillment that comes from knowing the problem that you solve is so much that the rewards, which is the money, is just like icing on the cake. Maybe your gift, your ability, your God-given ability is the ability to coordinate your body. Most people didn't know this. Some people have the ability to coordinate their body. God has put this flexible nature in their bodies. They are able to coordinate. This is where even sport comes in. Not everyone easily expresses their thinking through their body. This is where dancing comes in. So you could be a dancer, you could be an athlete, and your purpose in life is to relieve people of stress. I am in business, and during the week we go through a lot. By the time it's weekend, I am stressed. I want to sit down and watch soccer to relieve myself of stress. So the purpose of Cristiano Ronaldo out there, the purpose of Messi out there, is to help people like me relieve the stress, get rid of the stress. How do they do it? By playing soccer. So Messi can say, I am a stress reliever, and I do it by playing soccer. I have been endowed with the ability to coordinate my body, and I do it through soccer, and by so doing I entertain people, and even if they were stressed, they forget whatever they are going through. So every ability, every skill, every gift, every talent, every career is not purpose, but it is a tool to be used to fulfill your purpose. So what ability do you have? Some of you have the ability to write. When you write, it's hard to ignore your writing. So the next question should be, if I was given the ability to write, what then does my master want me to write about? Because again, it's possible. A lot of people have discovered what their gift, what their talent is, but the master who gave them those gifts and talents is not benefiting. It's like me giving those servants of mine a slasher and a hoe and an axe, and the one with a slasher discovers he's been given a slasher, and off he leaves my yard and he goes to slash other people's yards and he's making money, and I'm not benefiting. I who gave him the gift, who gave him the tool. That's how some people are. They've discovered that they have the ability to sing, but God who gave them the ability to sing is not benefiting. Some people have the ability to act, but they are acting weird movies. The God who gave them that ability is not benefiting. So make sure that you please the master who gave you that tool, because that tool must serve the purpose. I hope this was clear. This is method 1 of discovering purpose. Next episode we'll look at method 2. Like I said, the methods are quite many, and the method that may work for me may not be the method that may work for you. And that's why I'm encouraging you to tune in every episode that comes after this. Each episode will be a method on its own of what or how you can discover your God-given purpose. Thank you so much, and please, between now and next week, reflect on what tool you've been given or what tool you have acquired along the way. I want to thank you so much, and I pray that God may bless you all, and make sure that you use your God-given tool to fulfill your purpose. Thank you, and shalom, shalom.
You are watching and listening to Sun FM TV on Channel 91 on Topstar and radio on 88.5 FM on the Coverbelt.